Imagine pulling into your own driveway after a long day, only to have the cops called on you for simply being there. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to one man when a woman in his neighborhood decided he looked suspicious. She didn't ask any questions. She didn't stop to think. She just dialed 911, convinced she was doing the right thing. But what she didn't know, he wasn't just any guy parking in a driveway. This was his home. And the truth he uncovered after the call, let's just say she never saw it coming. At first, it seemed like another case of someone jumping to conclusions. A black man closing his own gate shouldn't be newsworthy, but for this woman, it was enough to hit panic mode. When the police arrived, expecting to confront an intruder, they got a reality check that left everyone stunned. But that was just the beginning. As the homeowner dug deeper, he found out something about that changed everything. What started as an unnecessary 911 call turned into a story no one saw coming. And when the truth finally came out, it wasn't just embarrassing, it was shocking. Stay tuned, because once you hear what he uncovered, you'll understand why this Karen never expected her call to backfire badly. As the homeowner stood there, watching the officers approach, he couldn't help but shake his head. He had lived in this neighborhood for years, paid his bills on time, took care of his property, yet here he was, being treated like a criminal in his own driveway. He took a deep breath, staying calm, but inside, frustration was bubbling. The officers, to their credit, didn't come in aggressively. One of them even seemed a little confused when he asked, "Sir, do you live here?" Before he could respond, the woman who called 911 rushed over, her arms crossed, eyes full of suspicion. "I saw him closing the gate. He doesn't belong here," she insisted, as if she were the neighborhood gatekeeper. The man pulled out his keys, gesturing toward the front door. "I own this house," he said plainly. Silence. The officers exchanged glances. She blinked, her confidence cracking for the first time. But that was just the start. Something about the woman's reaction made the man curious. Why was she sure he didn't live there? Was this really just paranoia, or was there more to the story? Later that night, he did some digging, and what he found left him speechless. Turns out, the woman who called the cops had a secret of her own, and she never expected him to find it. Back inside his home, the man couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. He had dealt with nosy neighbors before, but this woman's reaction felt personal, like she wasn't just suspicious, but invested in keeping him out. That's when he decided to do a little research. He started with a simple search of public records, curious about who she was, how long she had lived in the neighborhood. What he found made his stomach drop. Her name wasn't unfamiliar. In fact, it was tied to something much bigger. Years ago, before he had even moved in, his house had been the subject of a messy legal battle. The previous owners, they were connected to and the reason she was so convinced he didn't belong. It wasn't random, it was personal. As he kept digging, the story became clearer. This woman had a history of trying to control things in the neighborhood. She had been involved in disputes with other homeowners before, always finding a way to stir trouble. But the real shocker, it wasn't just about his house. She had something to lose if he stayed. And now, he wasn't just dealing with a nosy neighbor. He was in the middle of something much bigger than he ever expected. What was she hiding? And why was she so desperate to make him leave? The answers were coming, but they were more unsettling than he could have imagined. The more he uncovered, the deeper the mystery became. It turned out the woman had lived in the neighborhood for decades, long before he had even thought about moving in. But what really caught his attention was an old real estate listing buried in public records, one that showed his house under a different name. And right there, listed as an interested buyer years ago. Pieces of the puzzle started falling into place. She had wanted this house. Maybe she had even fought for it. but for some reason, she had never gotten it. And now here he was, living in the home she had once tried to claim. Was this really just about suspicion, or was this her way of trying to make him feel unwelcome, like he had taken something that was supposed to be hers? But that wasn't even the most unsettling part. As he kept looking into her past, he found something even stranger. This wasn't the first time she had called the cops on a new homeowner. There were other cases, neighbors who had mysteriously moved away, some after just months of living there. It was as if she had a pattern, a way of pushing out people she didn't approve of. Then, just as he was processing everything, a noise outside made him freeze. Footsteps, slow, deliberate. Someone was standing right outside his window. And when he looked out, his stomach tightened. It was ***. His breath caught as he stared through the window. There she was, standing motionless in the dim light, her eyes fixed on his house like she was studying it. But why? Was she just trying to intimidate him, or was there something more? He didn't move, hoping she would just walk away. Instead, she took a step closer. A chill ran down his spine. This wasn't normal neighborly behavior. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. She wanted him to know she was there. But before he could decide whether to confront her or call someone, she did something that sent his mind racing. She bent down near the edge of his driveway, pressing her hands against the ground like she was searching for something. What was she doing? Curiosity battled with unease. He waited until she finally turned and walked away, disappearing into the darkness. The moment she was gone, he grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside, his heart pounding. He scanned the spot where she had been crouching, looking for anything out of place. And then he saw it. A small, rusted piece of metal was sticking out of the dirt. He dug around it, brushing away the soil until he uncovered something unexpected, an old key, buried just beneath the surface. His stomach tightened. This wasn't just any key. It belonged to his house **. But how did she know it was there? And more importantly, what else was she hiding? He turned the key over in his hand, his mind racing. How long had it been buried there? And why did she know about it? His gut told him this wasn't just some lost key, it meant something. It was a connection between her and the house, and he needed to find out why. The next morning, he decided to confront her. He walked over to her house, knocking firmly on the door. It took a moment, but when she opened it, she didn't look surprised to see him. If anything, she looked nervous. "You were outside my house last night," he said, holding up the key. "Why?" Her eyes flickered to the object in his hand, and for the first time, he saw something different in her expression, regret. She sighed, stepping back like she was deciding whether to tell the truth. Then, after a long pause, she finally spoke. "That key belonged to my father," she admitted. "He built that house." His chest tightened. He hadn't expected ***. She explained that decades ago, her father had owned the house, but after falling into financial trouble, he lost it. She had grown up there, and when it was sold, she had tried everything to get it back. Over the years, she had watched different families come and go, hoping one day it would be hers again. When he moved in, she let her emotions take over, convincing herself that if she made things difficult, maybe, just maybe, he would leave. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. He had spent days feeling angry, suspicious, but now, standing there, he saw her differently. She wasn't just a bitter neighbor trying to push him out. She was someone clinging to a past she couldn't let go of. But then came the final twist, one neither of them had expected. "I understand why you're upset," he said carefully, glancing at the key. "But this was buried in my driveway. Why?" She hesitated, confusion crossing her face. *** didn't put it there." His stomach dropped. If she hadn't buried it, then who had? And more importantly, what else was still hidden beneath his home? A heavy silence hung between them as they both stared at the key. If she hadn't buried it, then someone else had. But why? The answer wasn't going to come that night, And for the first time since this whole thing started, he wasn't sure he wanted to keep digging, at least not alone. Over the next few days, he did some research on the house's history, speaking to longtime neighbors and even looking through old property records. It turned out the house had been passed through several owners over the years, but one detail stood out. After her father lost it, no one had lived there for long. People had moved in, then mysteriously sold it within a few months or a year. No major issues were ever reported, no official complaints, but it was almost as if no one wanted to stay. Eventually, he decided to let it go. He had spent enough time tangled in the past, and if there was one thing this experience had taught him, it was that sometimes holding on to old ghosts only keeps you stuck. Instead of focusing on the history of the house, he focused on making it a home. As for his neighbor, she changed too. She stopped watching him so closely, stopped treating him like an outsider. And maybe, in her own way, she realized that moving forward was the only way to find peace. Because at the end of the day, the past may shape us, but it doesn't have to define us.